The text-to-column feature within Microsoft Excel can be very handy when dealing with serial numbers or combined information. A lot of times that is generated out of an export of a program. There's different situations where this sort of function needs to be used, but it's very handy instead of having to manually type out this information, especially if there's thousands of lines of data. The best way to handle this is if we wanted to separate each one of these pieces of information into different cells in order to organize it. We would select the cell, or the column rather, go to the Data tab, and you'll see Text to Columns. Select Text to Columns, and you have two options, delimited or fixed width. And we're going to do both. The first one we're going to do is delimited. And if you select delimited, you'll notice the options that you were given. You can do it from a semicolon, comma, space. A lot of times other is the best option. And in our case, there is an underscore throughout the data set. So if we select underscore, you'll notice that lines are now generated between each piece of information. So if we select next, it will ask where you want this to be placed. We'll select column C to be the start, and then we will select finish. And you'll notice that each piece of information has been placed in its own cell. Now, you'll notice that the state has a set of zeros behind it. Say we don't want those zeros behind that information. Say we want to get rid of those. We will select that column again, select Text to Column, Fixed Width, and what this is going to allow you to do is to select where you want the item to separate, if there isn't any kind of identifying factor that would allow you to separate it. So we will separate it between the letters and the numbers. We will select J1 as the cell where it's going to place these items, and you'll notice that it has split each item up. So we could have used the delimited on this, or if we wanted to say use the fixed width, we could separate it here all in one step, making it easier. Now you'll notice that this would cause a problem in our data set because the information isn't lined up. Everything's lined up to this point. So if we needed to, we could separate the rest of this later and to separate the items that we've chosen now. And if you're doing multiple sets of information, say we wanted to choose C1 for our destination of our information, but say we don't want these zeros to be anywhere because we don't need them, we will select Do Not Import Column. Now this column won't be imported, and the rest of these will. So if we select Finish, you notice that everything has been put in here except for the one that we selected not to be imported. And in a logical case, this column probably wouldn't have been imported either because the information is not relevant. Now, being these items aren't lined up, the best way to handle these would be to do a delimited text to column and separate it by underscore. That way you don't lose any of your information.